Okay, so I think we're ready to get started again. Welcome again. I'm Marion Nestle, head of the Center for Food and Resilience here at Bard College Simon's Rock. Welcome all. If you're just joining us, this is Think Food, our 11th Think Food. Happy to have you here. Food is health is our topic today for the day. This panel is healthy communities, and I think you're going to understand very clearly why in a second. I do want to thank a couple people before we get started. My team out there that you met at the registration desk, they all work with me here. And Brian Meixel is our program manager at CFAR, brand new position for him. So he's been helping with lots and lots of things, including the name tags that you have. So we will get started with our next panel. This is, as I said, healthy communities. So these are all people who work on creating healthy communities around food. And I think you know some of them already, but I'll introduce them. So we have on this end Ashni Sundar, who is working at Lambet's Freedom Farm. We have Cherry Sains, who is executive director of Extra Specialties in Barrington. And we have two great people from Rock Steady Farm. We have Luca DeMambro and Ad Kim. So they're going to be speaking about their respective farms or businesses. But let's get started with Cherry on Extra Specialties. So welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today and to be included in this panel. Not only am I excited to talk to you about Extra Specialties, but also I want to talk about the wonderful collaboration that we have here at Simon's Rock with the CFAR Garden Project, which I will get to shortly. I've always been a foodie, but my journey began, the healthy food journey began back in 1992 when my son Jake had feeding issues and was failing to thrive. I quickly started reading everything I could get my hand on and ended up settling on a gluten and casein-free diet. And that was way before gluten and casein-free diets were cool. I really pretty much made everything from scratch for him, just to help. And I really do feel like it helped and made a difference in his ability for his body to thrive. He's now a 32-year-old thriving adult. So I do attribute a lot of that to the diet that was with him. But our journey began with Jake when he was about 2 years old. He was also diagnosed with autism, and we were living in Houston. And we came up here to the Option Institute. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but we started the Sunrise program with Jake, and we did that home-based program for 12 years. By that point, we moved from Houston to, in about 1990, we moved from, 95, we moved from, or 2000, excuse me. Yeah, we moved from Houston to up here to Great Barrington. And we did the home-based program both in Houston and here. And then Jake went to the Mount Everett Life Skills program starting at about 15. And he was there till he turned 21. Well, when kids turn 21, they no longer get to go to public school. So I began to think, okay, what's going to be the next thing for Jake? It was important to me and my husband that the world in our community embrace Jake and people with learning differences. And we believe then and now that every differently abled person has something to offer their community, deserves to be a part of it, and needs to know that they have value. We wanted Jake and others like him to be included, not excluded. So in 2015, we formed a nonprofit when together with our friends and family and support of our community, we were able to open our tea house in 2016. So you can start the video now. So on 2016, on World Autism Awareness Day, we opened at 2 Elm Street in Great Barrington, in a really cute Victorian, right there down in downtown Great Barrington. We started with Jake and 2 others, and we've been at 2 Elm Street now for about 9 years. We made it through the pandemic by doing Zoom classes for over a year and using our takeout window. And fortunately, people bought our gluten-free pastries and tea, and we were So grateful to our dedicated customers and supporters that got us through that hard time. We also then started to run out of room. After the pandemic, the cute little Victorian became very crowded. We had about 15 participants at that time, but it had no commercial kitchen or a place for us to blend tea. So we found a wonderful space over in Housatonic with more room. It's the old Hughesy Market, in case any of you know that place. Wonderful restaurant. And we were able to renovate and open our own dedicated gluten-free commercial kitchen over there, and a tea lab of our very own where we could blend our own teas. We opened our second tea house in January of 22 over there in Housatonic, and we were off to the races. We now employ about 40 differently able people who make at least minimum wage, and we employ about 20 staff. We say we're belonging at EST. So how do we do that? We're not just a tea house. Our number one goal is to educate the public that every differently able person has a place in our community. We serve and sell over 60 teas, 6 of our very own that we blend over in Housatonic. We were voted the best bubble tea places in the state by the Travel Massachusetts. We also love our Simons Rock bubble tea customers. We have gluten-free baked goods, all our own recipes. We use all natural organic ingredients in all our products and no food dyes. We're very transparent about all our ingredients and are very attuned to food allergies. We also wholesale some of our packaged baked goods to Highland Farm and Nomcad. And we have 92 products of our own that are made by our staff and participants. T-bones, our dogs need good nutrition too. That's our tea and for use dog treats. And we make candles and soaps and other gift items. We have an online store and a fabulous website that you can check us out at. Our restaurant now serves breakfast, lunch, and afternoon tea. We have a food prep program where our participants learn all aspects of the commercial kitchen. And we recently started teaching table service to some of our participants, which will see some of the slides. What you don't see is our community-based day programs, because when you walk into our tea shops, you'll see our participants serving tea on the tea floor. But behind the scenes, we're also working on social and vocational skills. We're making our products. We're doing art therapy, music, and we participate in community outings and volunteering. We volunteered at the food pantry in Gideon's Garden. And then finally, here at Simons Rock in the Seafar Garden Project, which we are just so excited about. We began that last spring by helping clear the garden and planting some things that by seed in the greenhouse. Then we helped plant the seeds in the garden. We tended the garden from start to finish in the fall. And this year, the garden was much more substantial, and we were able to cultivate spearmint and blue cornflowers for a blue skies tea. And it's a blend of a blue butterfly pea flower blend, which has incredible health benefits. It's my favorite of all of the teas that we do. And also, we were able to provide food for our restaurant and flowers for our stores. But the most important thing about that collaboration is that our participants get to be out in nature in this beautiful garden every week during growing season, seeing the look on their faces as they participate in this fabulous project and seeing them bring in the bounty that they have grown and picked themselves is priceless. Not only do we get to be a part of growing the vegetables, they got to be a part of bringing them back to our commercial kitchen, where we got to cook them up and serve them in our restaurant to our community. Now that's brewing belonging. Getting to work alongside the Simons Rock students and the Simons Rock students getting to enter our world. Now that's also rocking the community. We prepared a gratitude lunch using many of the wonderful ingredients from the garden for the Simons Rock faculty. That's this slide here, and had just a wonderful time together that day, showing our gratitude for just this wonderful opportunity. We've not only been able to learn about food, but the connections that we've made here are also priceless. And we just can't wait for next year. As Al, one of our participants, said, I love gardening in Simon's Rock, and I miss my college friends now that the program's over. So I know that he's going to be happy to be back in the spring. All that being said, at Extra Specialties, we focus on the participants' abilities, not their disabilities, to help them reach their full potential. We bring belonging at Extra Specialties. We help everyone find purpose and possibilities in their lives, and we feel that we inspire our customers. So if you haven't come by Extra Specialties, you can come by and visit us at 2 Elm Street in Great Barrington or 226 Pleasant Street, or check out our website. That's www.extraspecialties.org. Thank you.
Great photos. So thank you very much. We're going to have time for a conversation at the end, so we're going to move forward. Our next speaker is, I believe, is it Rocksteady? No, yeah. Let's have Ashley and Jim go next. Let's have Ashley talking about among vets. So that's hyperlocal sanctuary. Greetings, everyone. Hello.
Hello. Sunder Ashmi, Kimberly Tiffany Messiah Excel. I'm the daughter of Cynthia and Alan, the granddaughter of Virgie Hector, Ezekiel Williams, James and Sarah Maloney. My family comes from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, also known as Haroon, land of the blessed in the Caribbean. And I like to say that I was conceived in the islands and born in Brooklyn, in the Lenape-Hoking territory, and I've been here in Stockbridge, Muncie, Mohican land in the Berkshires for about 5 years. And I wanted to talk about hyperlocal sanctuary. And so I wanted to invite you first, before I get into my presentation, to just, you can like lower your eyes or close your eyes, but just like soften and just connect to your body for a second, if you can, if that feels okay for you. You don't have to do anything I say, it's all an invitation. But just inviting you to connect to what's literally holding your body right now. The back of the chair, maybe you feel your feet on the ground. And consider that what's holding you is being held by a larger matrix. This building rests on the foundation rests upon the earth. There are literal roots and trees and plants that are holding our earth together now. And I invite you to consider those. Consider maybe a tree where you live. Consider the roots of that tree that reach down through and across the earth, that goes around maybe some underground aquifers, pockets of air, stone, acorns. Imagine that soil heated by the sun, kissed by the air. Imagine the tree where you are connecting to the tree in the place where the person next to you is sitting. And there you can get a sense of the matrix that we are a part of. Noticing your breath. We're a part of a great and big ecosystem. And when I'm talking about hyperlocality, I'm thinking not just about the spaces that we inhabit, but how we inhabit space. And our bodies as a part of that. And so take a look around you when you feel ready to open up your eyes and look around the people in the space. Look at people, it's okay to see each other. And so I gave this presentation called Hyperlocal Sanctuary, Cultivating a Relationship with Self, Community, and the Planet.
You should just be able to tap. No.
Oh, ooh, there. Oh, wait. There you go. Leaning into liberation. Recently, you know, before we had the election, I was just thinking a lot. I've just been thinking a lot my whole life, actually. I've been feeling into like, what are we doing here on this planet? What's going on? And I had an impossible dream. I want to experience peace on earth in my lifetime. And some say that like, but I don't know. I just feel like that's something that I can't let go of. Even if I don't see it, this is something that my heart is always called for. So I wrote, can we cast a spell for peace? So that no matter what the outcome, we arrive with our hearts bare to tend to each other. Listen, it is us who keeps us safe, sane, and stable. It is us who make the whole fully possible. There. So yes, speaking about this prayer, this belief, and so when I say peace and I'm thinking about peace, the peace that I'm talking about is not like a dead peace. It's not like, recently I was talking with a dear friend and recent friend and colleague, and he was talking about a conversation he was having with the director of a theater company in Palestine. And this person said that, you know, we don't want your peace. It's like, oh my God, what do you mean? And I got like, when they were talking about peace, they don't want a peace that is talking about wiping things out for the existence of something else. The peace that we're talking about is a peace that accepts that we are all here, for better or for worse, with whatever we believe, with however we think, we're all here and we all share this planet. So how can we coexist? I'm talking about a peace that is rooted in acceptance of what is, acceptance that we're here on this planet, respect for one another, respect for this planet, and trust that we all belong. And so, yeah, we did the grounding there. We'll move on because there's so many things. So, place. We're in unceded Stockbridge, Muncie, Mohican territory, the Berkshire, South County, which is made up of, what's South County? Tell me some towns. Sheffield, Great Barrington, what? Egremont, Sandusfield, Monterey, West Stockbridge, New Marlboro. There's more. Southfield, Lenox, Lee, Otis, Alfred. So I might miss some. Our waters are a part of the Housatonic watershed, stemming from the Pawtucket River watershed. We have Berkshire Mountains, the hills, which is the subrange of the Appalachians. This is our place that we're in. We are beings, humans, four-legged, individuals, families, communities, organizations that make up our towns, villages, and cities. We also have cultural bodies, so understanding our local political bodies that represent us and advocate for our individual rights and can help and advocate for the right of the land. So, and then we also spoke to, so fast. We also, oh, there. Yeah, and then in the beginning, you know, again, speaking to our bodies as a part of that hyperlocality. So these are some pictures from the farm season. This is my 4th season farming on this land, and I have the most folks on the farm than ever. I started this project about 40 years ago with some dear beloveds of mine that have moved on since. And you know, the thing that I want to also say about sanctuary, they don't want to romanticize it. You know, finding ways to come together, even when we have a similar dream, can be challenging. You know, or requires a certain type of dedication. So I'm really grateful for the folks, Judy, Jordan, and Destiny, and Adrian, that joined this season. These are some flower friends. We have the gift of being able to work with a lot of, you know, amazing organizations here, including Greenagers. This is a picture of a group that came through early in the season. These are the folks from Gideon's Garden. Joel there. This is a crew that came after a gathering that we had this year, partnering with the Schumacher Center for Economics and Bio Komalafe. We did a carnival. We brought together so many people from around the world that are looking to envision a new world. And then this is an IVAR workshop that we did with preserving eggplant and peppers. So I just wanted to just share, these are some pictures of a harvest, different harvests that we had at the farm. Harvesting. These are pictures from another event that we did, or another program that we did this year called Cure, Cultivating, Understanding, and Restoring the Earth. And we brought together artists coming from the city of African descent and artists of colors for a week to immerse in ritual and connection and dream up the cure for the current moment. That's my spiritual grandma at the Women Seed Carnival. This was the structure that we built on the farm as an offering. And this is a picture of the processional of all the folks that came together. So hyperlocality, getting back to that. So exploring hyperlocality, like I said, I don't want to romanticize it, but what it does is inviting connectivity, flexibility, curiosity, and care. So it's not like a prescriptive way of relating. It's like relating because we want to connect. We want to understand, like, I want to understand who we are, and I want to be flexible enough, you know, in my own dreams, my visions for peace, that I can meet somebody else where they are and understand what they believe and what they are curious about, what they're dreaming into. Curiosity meaning I ask questions. I don't just make assumptions. You know, I'm very new in this place, and so you know, I'm always curious and also learning from people who've been here longer than I've been, and that includes the trees, the plants, and the water, and the nature here, and caring for these things. So people. So this is a map that was created by a dear friend of mine. You can't really see it that well. Stephanie Lee. So while thinking about hyperlocality, let's consider ourselves, relationships, community, and the ecosystem they exist within. So Stephanie K. Lee, from the Office of Human Resources, created this project, Hard Labor Soft Spaces. And I think Knox Steady is on here too, but you can't really see all the farms, but basically they mapped like different farms that were like Black, BIPOC-led, queer-led farms in the region, and just kind of like put them together on these different maps. There's a key here. I can't really see. It's really small, but there's different vectors on here that basically determine, like, some farms like really work with getting food to like prisons. These other farms work with mutual aid. These farms work with different kinds of community programming. And so Stephanie started to put these things all together on a map. And so I wanted to invite you all to share with somebody next to you briefly, like, what communities are you a part of? Just turn to the person next to you or behind you, like, what communities are a part of? Where are you from? Like, just talk to each other for a second. Where are you from? What community are you from? Yes. Hey. Hey. Clap once you can hear my voice. Clap twice. Clap 3 times. Thank your partner. Okay, so what I saw on this map, like what you all shared in this room, that's just like we're all just like a part of like this really big and beautiful community. All these organizations that live here, we're just like a small part. So this is a beautiful map of this region that maps. I spoke about this being Stockbridge, Monsignor Beacon land, but this map like the people that took care of this land before we got here. The confederacies and like all of these things, we know that we're a part, like we're just a part of something much, much bigger that started way before we got here, way before. And so the past 4 years, I've been really focused on like cultivating a relationship with this land, getting to know it, and I'm still learning. I still have so much to learn about like where the water is and like all the, like all the people who are here, all the animals, like how things grow. There's so much to learn, right? And I'm invested in continuing to do that. I've also been getting really curious about, and I'm going fast here, and I could speak a lot deeper into all of these things, but I want to get to like all of the bodies and all of the things that comprise our hyperlocal environment, and that includes political government. So I've also gotten to know like the select board. I didn't know like select board and like going to some meetings and like being there for friends who are trying to get like certain things passed and calling on the senators. And so I feel like, especially in these times, understanding ourselves, our bodies, where we are, getting to know the other communities, organizations, getting to know our plants, getting to know the waterways, getting to know the trees, getting to know our local government. These are all really important things we're talking about sanctuary. Because sanctuary is not just like, oh, I'm gonna go and like take a nap under a tree. Yes, it's that too. But it's also like, who do I talk to when like I have like a really important need? Like, how do I get like services? Like, who's gonna advocate for me? These are really important things for us to know and understand. So like a few people in our political landscape, Lee Davis, that's our new state's representative that was recently elected, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Edward Markey, like people, like we can call people, we can write letters, like, and it's important right now in this climate that we actually do and we engage. There are really creative and like non-scary ways to engage with your local officials, and they're humans too, that want us to do that want to advocate for us. And they link us to other people in our community. They're larger representatives of smaller organizations in the community. So sanctuary building, I think about animals, plants, people, organizations, farms, sanctuary spaces and places, shared dreams, maybe differing values. My curiosity is around where the two can merge and we can share the same space. So now I want you to turn to somebody and share a dream that you have and also share a resource that you can offer. So for instance, my dream is like, I really want to see peace on earth in my lifetime. My dream is to have sanctuary spaces where people can grow their own food, where they have access to clean water, where they can create together and worship in whatever way feels good to them. And they can live together and share resources. A resource that I have to share is I make medicines. So like I have like tulsi tinctures and I have mullein and I have flower essences. That's something practical that I can give and share. Okay, so you're going to share a dream with someone and share a resource or skill that you have. Okay, go. Share my dream. What's your dream?
Oh, what's my date? Okay. I work in child care. I had well, I have some adult CPR and first aid. And so I
Okay, which if you haven't already. I think that's
class. Yeah, I learned so much stuff. It's so wonderful. Like help even down to like how to like make a bed for all the how to stop that was so
hear my voice cut twice? You hear my voice cut time? Touch your head, touch your shoulders, touch your heart, thanking the person for sharing their dream. And again, there's so many dreams in this room, so many resources in this room. That's the thing that I really want to bring forward when I'm talking about hyperlocal sanctuary. There's so many dreams and resources in every room that we enter. And can we be curious about that? Can we get to know those things so that we can build something that's more juicy, that's more, I think I say juicy, that's the life, it's just like bubbling. It's like when you walk into a room, there are people that have dreams in there. People have dreams in here. They have things that they want to share. How can we bring those things more forward? In this time, we need that. We need to remember that. We need to remember that we're coming in here with dreams. We're coming in here, not only dreams, we have actual practical skills, each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. And so I'm really interested in ways that we can share that. So that's basically my presentation. I can say more about that, but that is what I wanted to leave you here with. So thank you.
Thank you, Ashni. Amazing as always. So I want to welcome our next speakers, Luca and Ad from Rocksteady, and we have more slides for you.
Hi, everybody. From Rocksteady Farm. I just got access to our Google Drive of photos, so I'm all excited. This is some of the folks on our team this year, and Yeah, it's been a really great year. We just wrapped up. Yesterday was our last day, so if you hear a little senioritis in my voice, that's what's happening. So Rock Steady Farm is based in Millerton, New York. We're a queer and trans-led cooperative vegetable farm. I'm going to be speaking in my capacity as, also I'm Luca. I'm going to be speaking in my capacity as harvest manager.
I'm Ad,
I'm CSA manager. You're harvest
I'm
manager.
harvest because CSA manager, I am recently anointed, harvest manager and sales manager in training. So if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, it's because of that.
So I think the easiest way to kind of ground in like how we function is looking at how food leaves our farm and how money enters our farm. So food largely leaves our farm in either a pre-assembled diverse vegetable box or as wholesale individual items. So like a box of cilantro. And then money flows into the farm through a few main routes. Purchase of a CSA membership. Does everybody know what a CSA member, what a CSA is? A lot of nods. Okay, cool. I don't know too much into that. So purchase of a CSA membership by like an individual, purchased by an entity. So that could be either one. Some of our entities like to buy pre-assembled, 20 vegetable boxes, deliver them to their neighbors. Some people like to buy, our food country likes to buy specific crops. So like 200 bunches of cilantro, stuff like that. We also get a lot of our money from fundraising and from grants. So fundraising being more like individual donations, grants being grants. A little bit about our CSA, we currently offer it at 3 locations, 2 in the city, 1 on the farm in Millerton, about 22 weeks. This year we had about 130 members, and we do a sliding scale, which means members can choose from lower, middle, upper, and contributor tiers, or they can apply for solidarity share if the lower tier is still not accessible. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Ideally, within the CSA model, it's paid at the beginning of the season, which means that we have money for stuff like seeds, labor, equipment, the things that you need to actually start growing food before the food is ready to be eaten. And that's really supportive to us, but we also have payment plans available. Our website allows, I think, 5 payment plans throughout the year, which is also still supportive to us. So this is, I think, kind of the nitty gritty, but to me, this is where our ability to actually feed our community comes out. So you can see our middle is kind of the grounding, that's the market price. Basic, most of our members are there. Upper and lower are 20% above and below that market price. Contributor is 40% above, and then solidarity can be no cost, it can be half off. This also encapsulates our EBT shares, which is new this year. We recently were approved to sell shares using EBT online. A lot of thanks to Glenwood's CSA as a SNAP program, which takes half the cost off, then our internal fundraising takes half off of that, leaving it at $15 for a full box, which is like 8 to 9 vegetables, or feeds about a family of 4, which is something I'm really proud of. To me, like, we can have all of the wonderful, eco-friendly practices, but if we're only feeding the rich people in our community, then like, what's the point? So to me, being able to have a program that supports that is like, that's what gets me excited about this work. So a little bit about how this works out. You can see this year, the upper and lower canceled out. So we had $3,000 positive in our upper 4 levels of that. So solidarity shares get funded by a combination of whatever's remaining from the sliding scale and internal fundraising. So we had $3,000 left over. Those upper 4 levels are people who chose those. They self-select. And so to me, that's really exciting for like what it means about our community and the ways that people are able to internally look at themselves, look at their position of privilege, look at their wealth, their assets, their debt, etc., and make the conscious decision of like, I'm going to pay 40% more than the market price. I could be getting this bargain, but instead I'm going to pay a whole lot more because it means that I get to support really directly my community. Yeah, it's so exciting to me. So hope that comes through. Yeah, so how it supports our community and how it supports our work. I think, as I just talked about, like, we're able to kind of really directly redistribute wealth in our community. I think anyone familiar with this area knows there's a lot of wealth in this area. And we can really directly redistribute that immediately. The money's not going to some like nebulous charity. We're bringing our community together. You know, when people come to our CSA pickup, there's no distinction of like who's paying what. Everybody is getting delicious vegetables, nutritious vegetables, no matter where they fall in the spectrum. I think also a lot of things that I really enjoy about CSA as the person who does the pickup every weekend is that we get to be really deeply connected with the people we grow. So you get to have like 22 weeks of a relationship with somebody where you can be educating them about, you know, we had this crop that we were really excited about and it didn't do well. Last year, it rained a ton. Our tomatoes did so badly. And we were able to actually educate people instead of just being another farm stand that doesn't have tomatoes. We were able to sit with our customers and say, hey, we wanted to have a ton of heirloom tomatoes, but it's really rainy this year. We barely got any sun because of wildfire smoke. We're able to educate about climate change, about the way those things work, right? We actually got to have a conversation a few weeks ago about how it was getting so cold and our plants just weren't really regenerating. So we bought in a lot of produce from another farm for CSA, and we're able to educate about, hey, here's this other farm that does a really good job growing potatoes, growing squash, growing stuff that we don't really want to grow ourselves. We're just not interested in. And we're able to foster that connection of like, yeah, we needed to give our plants a little bit more rebound time. And so we made this decision and we're able to bring people in. It also allows us to get paid, us to like pay our rent while supporting people and be able to have that reciprocal relationship. So that's our CSA. I'm gonna let Ad talk a bit more about our wholesale, community partners, stuff like that.
Yeah, so this is like the other half of like, I would say the food access work that we did, a farm. Oh, that's me. So in 2024, we distributed 40,000 pounds of food for food access, and for people who don't work in wholesale distribution, that was like, what does that even mean? It's a lot of food. And yeah, but where does the food go? We deliver food to both the city and to sites upstate. Like Luca said, we have a CSA drop off in the city. Also want to like make a kind of like note and disclaimer that like it's really hard to distinguish between like what sites are like we designate as like food access, like you know, food that we donate, and others that are not that way. Because it's like really like complicated, like with the CSA being a sliding scale and solidarity shares. But also like it's a point about the fact that it's like an ecosystem where like everybody, depending on what they have to offer, is contributing and allows for us to all get our needs met. So yeah, so in the city, we have drop-off sites at Cal Nord, the Pride Center, as well as at Goddard, which is a Black-owned and operated wholesale distribution organization. As well as Black Trans Liberation Kitchen, which is under the auspices of Black Trans Liberation, which is an organization in the city that creates these community events and advocates around houselessness, the issue of houselessness for Black trans folk in the city. And they have these like pop-up, meals where the veg that Rocksley donates through the help of a catering company in the city, Pixie Scout, is available kind of like a market style for people to take home for free. And so then there's also the Hattie Park Community Market, which to the presentation about urban farms was this kind of like organic relationship that grew out of this relationship that already existed between one of our managers and like an old friend who had started this garden market at the Hattie Garden community garden in central Brooklyn. But also, you know, we need to bring in food from a larger producer, you know, in upstate, to get, to get the community's needs met, there, which is really cool. And then, like I mentioned, for Goddard. And then upstate, we have outlets, the Mount Vernon Free People's Market, which is Mount Vernon, which is, you know, historically, disinvested, low-income community, mostly West Indian migrants. That there's this amazing kind of free choice, like and like sliding scale market that exists there that we donate to, as well as the Acton Neighbors Holiday Neighbors program, which is a kind of small food donation program that we contribute to our food sovereignty fund, as well as, you know, local people donate to have, I guess, these free CSA boxes distributed to the community. Northeast Community Center, I would say this is like one of our most important partnerships. It's not even like 10 minutes away from the farm, but they have a lot of programming that we work with them on, but primarily the food pantries that they have on Wednesdays and Thursdays that like run throughout the year that we contribute to during the growing season. I was just there on Thursday to volunteer, and over 250 families, mostly Central and South American immigrants, came through, and we're able to get a ton of food. And you know, just speaking to people, it's like an increasing need in the community to have access to this food. And it's a really amazing, also like relationship wherein like we are able to talk with people about what they actually want to eat in. And just in like our last few days working on the farm, we had what we do annually, which is like going through each crop and discussing it. And a large part of that, to inform our crop plan for next season. And a large part of that is talking about what feedback we got from the community about like what it is that people actually want to be eating. So we ended up growing a bunch of cilantro, like a ton of scallions, a lot of radishes, and like, well, it may not be that fun to like grow, I don't know, 4 bits of cilantro and scallions at one time. It's what the community wants, so it's what we grow. And so then we also have the farm and CSA pickup on the farm and more. Yeah, so this kind of part of the presentation is kind of to speak to people who are interested in getting involved in this kind of work. And there's a lot of questions here. I'm not gonna like read them all out, but you guys can read them at your own leisure. It's like a lot of work and a lot of things to consider before getting involved in doing what we call like food access work. And it's a lot of like relationship building and understanding like the needs of the communities that you're trying to work in, and not just that, but like understanding what your needs are and like how, because when we're talking about sustainability, it's like, well, you're not of any use to your community or other people if you're not also getting your needs met. And so we really, Rocksteady really focuses on, paying farmers a living wage. We get housing stipends, we get lots of paid time off. Like, this is really important stuff for us to be able to continue to do this work and like serve the community that we want to serve. There's like a lot of things you should consider, and like, how your positionality, these gaps to be filled in terms of like what you have to offer and your understanding of a certain community's needs. And is there another farm, like whether you want that or like, I don't know, we have catalysts down the road that are like working that can fill a need that you might not be able to. And how can you redistribute your resources? Like, we have a fund that's specifically we have a lot of work that we do, like, to support other farms, and like, a fund that we do to redistribute, resources that, Roxy is able to fundraise, to different BIPOC, led farms, and queer farms in the area, so, yeah. Yeah, and also something I wanna talk about is like, yeah, the slippery slope to like the charity and like white saviorism model and food access work, and how can you try to pivot from that to a model of food sovereignty, and one that is, yeah, really uplifts the self-determination of the communities that you're trying to work with. Yeah, and understanding also that this is like systemic issues, and that like it's, like I said, we are kind of speaking in the capacity of our roles, but like Rocksteady's theory of change is embodied in its farmer training, like it's advocacy work. And so like the food access part is like the really like important material work that we're doing every day to get people food that they need. But like we also understand that like it's like this really long race, and there's so many different aspects of this work. A lot of it being like education and, yeah, redistributing like resources that are gonna actually like create change that isn't just like, you know, fleeting and patronizing, honestly. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what yeah, so there's some questions to be asking oneself if you're trying to get involved in this type of work. Yeah, and also being self-aware of the fact that we're still working within these like charity models. And yeah, like I said, like food insecurity in our community is really real, and it's only getting worse as, you know, like austerity is ramping up, and yeah, I think everybody like is really freaked out about what's to come with this new administration, but also like I think we're all beginning to realize just how much, yeah, wealth there is in our communities. Not like they're all material, but yes, like how much we all have to offer each other. And the fact is, like, it's going to be so important for us to be just like engaging in these mutual aid projects, to be like reaching out to our neighbors about what they need, about to people you don't know about what they need. Yeah, and just being like constantly critical about, you know, what you're doing is, if it's like a short-term solution or one that is more lasting. Yeah, more questions to ask. What are your motivations? What's your personal food story? Something that like you know, can relate to the people that you're trying to help. Is my farm organization challenging things to the system? Is this where I can have the most impact in undoing structural racism in the food system, in addressing food access? Are there other farms or community organizations led by BIPOC and people that could use my support instead? What my contribution to be to redistribution of my wealth and access to land. That's more on a personal level. And yeah, like asking really critically, what might you be doing to cause harm in the community, and who is actually benefiting? Yeah, so this is our kind of like requisite call for donations, and yeah, there's like a lot of ways that this contributing to Rocksteady goes to our various projects, and yeah, we also have an impact report that is like coming down the pipeline, so you could like see like literally like what the numbers are and the impact. So yeah, and that's our that's me recap.
Let's start.
Okay, great. thank you. So I think you understand that these are three really important organizations in our community, creating healthy community in lots of ways. We have a couple of minutes for questions, and then we're heading to lunch, so you can ask lots more questions at lunch of any of these people. But there's maybe one or two questions we could have comments about these really important organizations. Please go ahead.
Thank you all. You're great presentations. My questions for the study farmers. Could you talk a little bit about your crew and do volunteering and experience? How many people work with you? What's your staffing like? Are you able to recruit staff? Do they see you out? And do you have any issues with housing crew?
Housing is rough around here, definitely, that's a struggle, just, I think speaking to pretty much everybody is aware, like, people, a lot of people coming up from the city and having second homes, a lot of people getting a home to rent out for Airbnb, rather than housing local people, we're not gonna make a lot more money off of somebody who's gonna come up for the weekend and get the area around here, and then, people who actually support making this area so beautiful and rural have a hard time finding housing. It's a really a struggle that we've had a tough time. Which I had a good answer for that, but that's it. We have, how big is our crew? Maybe like 9 people.
2 of which were like more than higher, and that was it. Big. Yeah, one of the owners, who is, yeah, they know it's like really awesome. Like cover higher, they are like hold a lot of the like big fishing stuff. That other people need to step into that work, and then it's just like it just like shifts everything around. But yeah, I also just to like talk about the housing thing too. Is like I think there are like farms that are like really trying to figure out how to obviously make solve by the farm themselves. But I know that like a couple years ago they were working to figure out like housing. For like farm workers. And I'm like really interested next year to see if like we can provide that in like the biggest problem.
Yes, go ahead.
This was for kind of everyone, but like, do you do anything specifically to like inform young people about your organizations?
Yeah, I mean, I have young people on the farm all the time. Always like reaching out to them, reaching out to other organizations that work with young people, and just giving them the opportunity to be on the farm. And just creating spaces. So I didn't talk so much about all of the programming that we do, but we do work parties like every month where like families can come up, whoever can come up, kids can come and just be on the land. And farming is a lot of things. Like, are you going to be an architect, a plumber, a marketing person, maybe an accountant? So advertising hasn't been my like greatest gift out there, but I do my best to try to reach out to organizations that I know work for that thing. And building relationships over time with organizations that work with you that can just keep coming back. So that's what I would say.
Well, extra specialties, we certainly have a lot of young customers that, I feel like when they come in our stores are getting the education that special needs people in our community can do what they want to do. They are a valuable part of our community. I've spoken at like schools and things like that. Anytime I'm asked to speak, I'm always happy to go talk about our mission. And then we were always doing different looking for different community outreach kind of things. We volunteer with also with like the Chamber of Commerce, so that we are connecting certainly with young people during that.
I think Rocksteady is really well versed in the marketing part of things, and like I think our social media marketing is way that like we reach young people. Also like our team is just made up of a lot of young people, so we have like networks in that way. But also with the Northeast Center, we have a program in the summer where we have youth volunteering in photography. And also something we really didn't talk about, because it's not like our sector of work on the farm, or like the programs that we do, besides like the new beginning, BIPOC, your farmer training. We have just like events that we host that really anyone is welcome to. We have birthdays too, but we have like these huge parties basically. I guess we had 2 this year. And you feel like a lot of like, yeah, you come through, and it's just like very big for people.
Good. Thank you again for all of the presentations. Have been to lunch. Lunch is at the dining hall, which is sort of across the circle from here. Follow people, you'll find it. If you haven't bought a lunch ticket, you still can at the registration desk. And we'll return at 1 p.m. for our next panel. Thank you all. Thanks very much.